1993-94 was a monumental season for Nottingham Forest, largely because of what had come before it. The unthinkable had happened. Forest had been relegated from the Premiership, and more astonishingly, Brian Clough was no longer the manager. But the man who replaced him, Frank Clark, knows a thing or two about Brian's methods and hence Forest tradition from his time here as a player. He retained the playing style, brought in men like Cooper and Collymore to enhance it, and together, Forest and Frank Clark began one of the most important seasons for many years.
Ball knocked forward towards Wone on the left. Andy Ansar gets it away and gets a clattering in the back from Pearce as well. And Stuart Pearce is back. He's going to start the new season, by the looks of it, with a yellow card. And on my watch, we've had 45 seconds.
Well, I can't believe that, Alan. You know, Stuart's gone up, OK, his elbow's up high, but at the same time, the referee should walk up to him and just say, steady, son, give you a warning. Not again. Too early to get the book out.
Totally agree with you. I think a case of Pearce being preceded by his reputation there. At the other end, Angel forces the ball in, and it's a goal. Andy Sussex scores. Southend in front. A minute and 15 seconds gone. It's all happening here.
Well, that was a long ball down the middle. It was played on, and it was Sussex who went in, but Crossley's injured, and I would say it looks pretty serious. Here's the ball going in there. It's a good header over the back by Angel, and there it is. It's a mix-up. Crossley's got a knock, and he looks very seriously injured. What a bad start for Notts Forest in the First Division. Can't believe it.
What a sensational opening here. Their captain, Stuart Pearce, cautioned in 45 seconds, and less than 30 seconds later, Southend take the lead, and Mark Crossley, the goalkeeper, still lying injured from the collision which preceded that goal. Here goes Glover. Rosario. Glover again goes down. It's a penalty. The challenge by Scully, and I don't think there was any question. The only slight doubt was whether it was inside the box or marginally outside, and I think the referee, Mike Bailey, was spot on.
Got no doubts at all myself. I thought he was just inside the box. Here's the flick on. He was very, very close on the line. But I'd go with the referee there and say, yes, you're right. He was going to go inside the box. I'd give it penalty. Good luck to you.
Pearce with an opportunity to bring Forest level midway through the first half. It's 1-1. Stuart Pearce is back. And back on the score sheet.
And that will do the team and his confidence the world of good. It's nice to see him back. Great lad, great character. And it's nice to see him get there and get the goal. There it goes, wide to the keeper's left. No chance whatsoever for the keeper. Beautiful struck penalty. Well done, Stuart.
8 minutes remaining of the first half. Southend 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Rosario wins it again, and it's off the line.
Powell again.
His second vital goal line clearance in a matter of minutes. Little plays it in once more. Sussex gets it away. Still the pressure. Cooper knocking it in, but that should be routine for Jonathan Hunt, and Southend breathe again.
Yes, it was another good corner. It was, here it comes in now. It's flicked on over the back. Up he goes, Rosario. Good header. Here it is. And Powell's there on the line to head it away.
Black. No offside. Stone. Wone ahead of him. This is Wone. It's got to be another. Ball easily read by Short. Chettle pumping it back in. That's a good ball. Wone is onside here. He'll have to go alone. Excellent save by Martin Taylor.
Well, it was a good effort by Wone this time, and it was a great save by Taylor, getting down low. Extremely well done.
The silly Black got there ahead of Cool. Now Webb for Forest. Black again. He's got to hit this surely. No, he took his time again. Now Pearce will hit it. Martin Taylor has been having a great night and had a little bit of fortune on his side then. Ooh, Webb with a very iffy sort of header there. Crossley came to his rescue. Danger not gone yet. And it's a goal! Crossley beaten. And Forsyth has broken the deadlock here. Rosario, that's a good little header on to Rome. And Rowan engineers the shooting opportunity. And delivers the shot. Taylor finally beaten. 1-1.
Well, it was a great shot by Wone, but let's just have a look at the Derby County defenders here. Not one of them tackle him. They're all standing off of him. Look. Oh, a good shot. But if I was Arthur Cox, I wouldn't be happy with my defence. You can see Wone collects the ball. There's 4 defenders around him. Not one went to him, but great execution.
Well, it's always been a lively match, this. And now we have the goals to add to the excitement. Forest 1, Derby 1. Glover did very well. That's a good ball too for Wone. Him and Rosario up in tandem. And Glover joining them 3 against 3 here. Wone finds Rosario. Oh, it was a lovely move by Nottingham Forest.
It was a great move. Wone has played a very good game of football this second half. He takes the players on here. And Rosario on the deck for a change. And, oh, just wide. Not a bad effort.
I just remember being, you know, excited because it was my first home game, and I had family down from the northeast to watch my first home game, and you know, it was on the television, I remember, and it was just a good night all round. You know, apart from only drawing, we could have done with the win, but it was a great night and a great game.
Well, Forest still looking for their first win of the season. Coming forward, Grimsby having to backpedal. Kingsley Black in plenty of space. Perhaps a chance here for a shot. Black on the edge of the area. And Crichton goes the wrong way. Black gets his first of the season. Forest ahead after 14 minutes. Forest 1, Grimsby 0. Neil Webb. Characteristic long ball from Neil Webb. Rosario chasing, Futcher back to his keeper. And Crichton, well, Crichton's missed it. Well, that will go down as an own goal, a most bizarre own goal from Futcher. He won't be pleased with his goalkeeper. Forest aren't too unhappy. It's 2-0. If Grimsby could get one before half-time, it would make a game of it in the second half. Mendonca, and he's done it. That's 2-1. Clive Mendonca right on the stroke of half-time. And it makes it an entirely different game in the second half. Little with the throw. Again in at the near post, and Glover gets his head to it. Crichton beaten at the near post. Not having the best of afternoons is the Grimsby keeper. And Forest extend their lead. Takes off a little of the pressure. Penalty area crowded. Crossley couldn't quite get his hands to that. And Dobbin on 60 minutes has again put Grimsby back. They will not lie down. But what can Forest do? After that goal from Jim Dobbin, it's Rosario, Glover, a good sweeping move, a chance here for Ian Wone, and that again extends the Forest lead. As soon as Grimsby come back, Forest extend their lead, and they're back in a comfortable position. Mendonca, and he goes for the return, a chance here, Crossley comes, then he stays, does his job. Back to Mendonca, now he's not offside, Pearce is on the line. And somehow Mendonca has squeezed it in. on 66 minutes. Glover on that left-hand side. Rosario, near post, Brighton beaten yet again, and surely now that must be good enough for 3 points for Nottingham Forest. Rosario, it's been said in his career he doesn't get enough goals. That will do for Forest. That's now 5-3, surely good enough for the win. And for Frank Clark, surely a first win as Nottingham Forest manager. 2 draws against Southend and Derby, and now a first win since taking over from Brian Clough.
It was a marvellous opportunity. I mean, I didn't have to think twice about it. It's something I wanted to do ever since I stopped playing, really. And I mean, I've had no problems with the fact of who was the last manager. You know, I've come in here and just tried to manage the club in the way that I thought it should be managed.
Nottingham Forest obviously means a great deal to you.
Yes, I mean, I would have wanted to manage a club of this kind of stature, but obviously to be able to come back here, that made it even more special.
Was in short this time. Bowery playing it back in again towards Young. Eric Young gives Crystal Palace the lead. 17 minutes gone. He's so difficult to combat in these situations. Look how much higher he climbed than the others, and that was a great header. It looks like the free kick's going to be teed up for young Dean Gordon to hit it, and what a superb shot. But Mark Crossley in the Forest goal will look back on that and think he ought to have done better.
Well, overall, defeat at Crystal Palace, ultimately to be crowned champions, was no disgrace. But defeat at Luton, a team whose FA Cup exploits overshadowed a league season of struggle, would have been hard to bear. Forest did have an early escape. John Hartson's goal was ruled out for offside. But the defeat looked on the cards when Hartson actually put Luton ahead. But Forest were level with Kingsley Black's equaliser just 7 minutes later against his former club, and it did set Forest up for all 3 points. Hartson was a constant thorn in the side, but he couldn't score, and Forest got the winner 5 minutes from time. Ian Wone ensured the win. Luton appealed for offside in vain. Wone got his 3rd of the season, and it was Forest's 2nd win of the campaign, for a side many said were too good to go down.
Honestly don't believe the word too good. I mean, people told me that all last season when we got relegated. No one's too good to get relegated. No one's too good to be at the bottom of the league. You're down there by lack of points and lack of games you win. It's as simple as that, really. So at the start of the season, I mean, admittedly, we had sort of 7 new players basically in the team, or 6 new players at any one time, so that was difficult for them to bed in. But I think we thought we had the ability at this club to sort of be further up the league, and I think we've shown that.
Victory at Luton was followed in the league by defeat at Barnsley, and perhaps now there were thoughts that pre-season expectations of immediate promotion had been too high.
No, there was a lot of expectation. I think there were too many people connected with the club thought that the team would just skate through the First Division very easily. I knew it wouldn't be like that. We also had a number of new players at the club, and it was obviously going to take time for them to settle in. We lost 1 or 2 key players early in the season with injuries. Colin Moore on the eve of the start, Colin Cooper in the early part of the season, and that all made the thing a little bit more difficult.
That's a good little flick on by Steen, and Regis has got the pace to make the most of it. It's a goal. David Regis, 16 minutes gone, Stoke City in front. And the Steen-Regis partnership pays dividends once again for Stoke City. Oh dear, complete miss kick. And suddenly Ginn arrives and goes down, and a penalty has been given. Well, Forest were an absolute shambles there. That was a routine clearance and they made a terrible mess of it, and Gins was challenged. Chettle completely missed kicking it in the first place, and then Stone goes in on Gin, and the referee says that's a penalty kick. I'm not entirely convinced. I agree with him myself. I need to have another look at that, and we'll bring Trevor in a moment. Meantime, Steen has the opportunity to make it 2-0 to Stoke here, and takes it. Mark Steen's 8th goal of the season. 1 for Regis, 1 for Steen, 2 for Stoke. Orlickson wins it back, and a neat little flick to Steen. Absolutely magnificent goal. That was sheer class. To Collymore. Collymore does well to hold off Overson, and that's a good cross, and it's in. Phillips arrives to supply the finish, and Forest have pulled a goal back. David Phillips, 2 goals in a minute. Heads it off him. Now Glover. He's done well here to find Stone. That could well be a penalty kick, but it might well be just the wrong side of the penalty area as far as Forest are concerned, and that appears to be what the referee has given, a free kick almost on the line. Let's have a look at this again. No question it was a foul. Well, you will not get one much closer to the line than that. In fact, the referee's placed the ball on the line. Now, with Stuart Pearce, it might be as good as a penalty, this, but that's another talking point, isn't it? And they've got to go back yet. They've got to go back well beyond the penalty spot. That was marginal, Trevor.
Yes, it wasn't exactly clear whether it was inside or outside. But the referee obviously saw that it was outside. But Forest certainly need to score now to get back into this game.
Be a brave man in the wall now. What a superb strike by Pearce! And it was as good as a penalty. Midway through the second half, and what a finish we've got on our hands now.
I think what happened there, Alan, was that Pearce had a word with the referee and said, don't give a penalty, I prefer a free kick.
I think it was virtually my home debut. Hi, Stan. You know, that was great, you know, virtually home debut and scoring again. But, you know, I don't score a lot of goals, but some I do score are important, some I don't. But I thought it was a bit of a hoodoo to start with, because the first 3 goals that I scored, we got beaten all 3 games. But then, you know, we played Bolton, and unfortunately, you know, we won that one, so I was quite pleased about that.
Another chance for one. And Stone for Phillips. There's Little coming up in support. That's a good cross. Hanging in there. That's a goal for Forest. Stan Collymore then gives the visitors the lead after 21 minutes of this game, with just his 2nd goal since joining the club. Now a chance for a second maybe. David Phillips again, into the near post. That's number 2 from Collymore. Into Watkin. Bennett streaking up outside him. Gemmell back. Bennett gets the penalty. Well, Gemmell will argue about that one, I think. Bennett going into the box, maybe looking for this challenge. Down he went anyway. The referee was happy that that was a penalty. So it's Bennett himself then, 7.5 minutes into the second half, who'll take this penalty kick. 4 penalties so far this season, out of 8 goals scored. No mistake. Fine spotting then by the Wrexham number 7. An advantage played. Collymore looking for his hat-trick. That's number 3. 13 minutes gone then in this second half, and Stan Collymore celebrates the first hat-trick of his Nottingham Forest career. Turns past Chettle. Outside him is Paskin. Here goes Paskin. Great chance for Wrexham second. Yep. Super sub Paskin does it again. John Paskin with his second goal of the season brings Wrexham back into the game again. In the meantime, Bennett going through for Wrexham. Bennett with a chance. He scored. What drama then in this game as Gary Bennett gets his second to bring Wrexham back into it.
Sort of the first real away game was Wrexham away, and I managed to get a hat-trick, so you know, on the confidence of that, it's managed to keep the whole season going, really. The first two were great crosses by David Phillips, and I just, you know, attacked the space and got in front of the defender. But the third one, you know, Steve Stone put me through and sort of latched on the end of it and tucked it into the corner. So, you know, that was pretty pleasing.
Good challenge there by Kelly. Wone reads the bounce. Little finding Collymore. Lovely turn by Collymore. Oh, that's brilliant by Collymore. What a magnificent goal. He may have taken some time to come to life, but that is why Nottingham Forest invested £2 million in Stan Collymore. Phillips, Gemmell again. Now Wone. Phillips. Oh, it's a beautiful goal! My word, what a strike that was from David Phillips. 2-0 Forest.
Well, I've seen many of those from David in my time. Wonderful power, wonderful strike of the ball. He just looked up, and there it was in the back of the net. Just giving me the old sign up there. I said, give me one of your old ones, David, and that's asking, and that's receiving. Wonderful shot. Here he is, the power in that right foot. Tremendous strike. Gets over the ball, just hits the top of the angle. Wonderful goal. Well played, Phil.
Well, he scored his first goal for the club against Stoke last Sunday, and what a beauty that was. I mean, Brannigan, looking at it again, will think I was almost in contact there, but it was so well struck, he'd never have kept it out.
What a tremendous goal.
Here's Thompson. McAteer, chance for a cross here, and then it goes towards Coyle. Laws heads it away, but it comes to Patterson. Good save, and Lee smashes the rebound home. Bolton have pulled one back in the last minute of the first half. Well played, Kelly. This is Green, the substitute. Good ball forward. Thompson's got clear of the last defender. 2-2.
No doubt whatsoever in my mind, he was played onside by Des Little.
Yes, there's no question that Forest are not content with a draw here. As Howard tries the shot, Collymore! And no wonder they're not content with the draw. They're back in front. Collymore's second. Bolton have it back though, with McAteer. It's a good run this, and he's found Green, and Lee, chance for the equaliser. Thompson. A lot waiting for the cross as it comes into Patterson. Mark Patterson has made it 4-3 to Bolton.
Yeah, they seem to say that. I don't know what a typical Stan Collymore goal is, really. I suppose they say, you know, run with it from 20-odd, 30-odd yards, but, you know, if the space is there to exploit, you may as well try and have a go, and it's paid off this season.
Stan's goals are just, you can more or less explain every one. He gets the ball, turns and rifles it in from about 20 yards. I think they all seem very similar, but he's strong and he's quick, and that's his trademark, and you can't argue it when he puts the ball in the back of the net like that, and it's a gift that he's got.
Collymore, they flick on. That's a great ball from Howe. Collymore's through. Great save by Alan Knight. Powell, past Little, here's Powell. There's a goal for Portsmouth. Daryl Powell with his third goal of the season. There's an instant celebration down at that end of the ground. What a terrific run here by Darryl Powell. He took on the entire Forest defence single-handed before poking the ball past Tommy Wright to give Portsmouth the lead. Forest will have one last push if there's time. Collymore. Still Collymore. Stone onto his right foot. Oh, it's a brilliant equaliser right at the death. It's only his second goal for the club. Scored on his debut, and he's popped up here with a magnificent goal to rescue the game. This man's career has been dogged by injury, and if anyone deserves a goal, then it's Steve Stone.
So Steve Stone's goal meant another point to the tally, but with only 2 wins from 9 league matches, things weren't exactly going according to plan. Still, Stan was doing his stuff, 6 goals in the 8 matches that he'd started, and Tommy Wright was now in goal for Mark Crossley. But as yet, Forest had still to set the First Division alight.
Well, still goalless in this second leg tie. Remember, 3-3 from the first leg. Forest looking for the breakthrough. They might get it here with Kingsley Black. All of a sudden, the defence goes away, and Black has indeed scored. Kingsley Black, after 16 minutes, puts Forest ahead on the night. 4-3 on aggregate. All of a sudden, the defence opened up. Pejic didn't have the legs. Kingsley Black was away on the favoured left foot, and that was good enough. Forest ahead. .55 minutes gone. Forest still looking for the second, and they've got it. Gary Crosby at the far post. Now, you wouldn't bet on him getting a header, let alone at the far post. Gary Crosby puts Forest 2-0 up. It's been a long time coming, but it takes the pressure off. He knows Wrexham are probably down and out now. Gary Crosby with the header. He normally provides that sort of cross, let alone getting on the end of them. That's 5-3 now on aggregate. Surely Forest through. Well, if Wrexham could get one back, it would make the last 15 minutes or so very interesting indeed. Almost as good as a corner, this. Pejic is there. And Wrexham are back in it. Wright is not happy, as well he might not be. It was as good as a corner. Forest didn't pick him up, and Pejic has put the Welshman back in it. It's now 5-4 to Forest on aggregate, and the work is not over yet. Pejic jumping between 2 defenders. Really had no right to get that one. Forest then still with a little bit of work to do. Steve Stone coming forward again, a little bit of space. Collymore. Immediately Wrexham thought they were back in it. Collymore is there. 57 minutes gone, and Stan Collymore again looks to have put Forest into the next round. Another good move from Forest. Good forceful attacking football. This Collymore's 7th goal in 8 matches he started this season. Good challenge from Gemmell, sets up Kingsley Black. He in turn sets up Collymore. That's where he likes them. And that's why. Forest ahead, Stan Collymore. 16 minutes gone, his 8th of the season. Forest still looking to add to that early goal from Collymore. He's the man on the ball now. And it drops for Gemmell on the edge. Great shot. Scott Gemmell puts Forest 2 up. High congratulations. A goal worthy of congratulation. Forest, it seems, then heading towards 3 points, but Tranmere still coming forward. Malkin with the looping header. Well, Forest thought they'd wrapped it up. Right on the final whistle, though, Malkin has scored. After Tranmere came a goalless draw with Oxford and defeated East Midlands rivals Leicester City. Still, the league consistency was hard to find, but next came the Coca-Cola Cup. Collymore, faced by Potts. The cross is a deep one. Hooked back in, a chance for Kingsley Black on his right foot. Not his favourite one, but it was enough to beat McCloskey. 1-0. Glover on the edge of the area. Steve Stone, a chance here to get the cross in. Collymore, well, he won't miss from there. At the far post, Stan Collymore, 55 minutes gone. Forest now 2 up. West Ham then looking to get back in, and they might do now. Morley with the chance. A striker of his calibre won't miss from there. But the crowd today of 26,721 is 37 more people than watched the first home game of the season against Derby. And they've now seen the first goal of this one. Stan Collymore has got the opening goal in 74 minutes. It's Forest 1, County 0. So by the end of October, this was the position. Forest in 16th position. Not many expected them to be that far down the table at this stage, and they were 13 points away from the leaders. A bit of sustained pressure this from Millwall. Well, he won't miss from there. John Goodman, from all of 2 yards out, has put Millwall ahead. Forest 0, Millwall 1. So Millwall still leading by that John Goodman goal on 14 minutes. They now have a chance of making it 2. Murray, another diving header. Again, the defence was absolutely missing. And Murray on 48 minutes has put Millwall further ahead. Forest in all sorts of trouble, 2-0. With the free kick. Back to Stevens at the far post. Well, it just dropped on his foot. It fell over Des Little's head. Keith Stevens at the far post. And Forest in all sorts of trouble now. 3-0 down at the City Ground. Forest need to do something. If they can get one, it will merely be a consolation. Pearce. Glover, well, he's got that consolation, but still little in the way of consistency.
I was a little bit concerned that we didn't get too far behind. I knew that we would have problems, and I didn't expect it all to go smoothly straight away. But we were getting to a stage where if it had gone on that much longer, we possibly would have been too far behind to have got into the picture at all. So that was my main concern.
What was the game that perhaps was the turning point to the season? Was there one?
It's always difficult to pinpoint one game, but I think if there was a game, it was probably Birmingham away, where we went to Birmingham after a very disappointing home result here against Millwall. We lost Stuart Pearce through injury. Birmingham at that time were on a run, were high flying. I think they were about 6th or 7th in the league and had won 5 straight home games. And we went there and won the game 3-0. Lars Bohinen made his debut. Stan got a goal. And the season really, it seemed to take off from there.
Well, Forest really do need to find a result here at St Andrews. Millwall on Wednesday night was a bit of a disappointment. A chance now for them to build some sort of attack. Collymore. Well, it's found the corner. 13 minutes gone. Lucky 13 for Stan. Forest 1 up. Stone. Looking for support, finds it with Glover. He finds Bohinen. Glover on the edge of the area. Well, what a great shot from Lee Glover. He scored on Wednesday against Millwall. He scored on Saturday against Birmingham. 2-0. .15 minutes to go. Gemmell with the short corner to Kingsley Black. Gets the ball back. Good play by Gemmell. Glover, will he get his second? Yes, he will. That wraps it up. 3-0 to Forest. What a way to come back from that midweek defeat.
First of all, I remember that I was sick the day before, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to play, but I turned out to be well on the match day. So I wanted very much to play. So I told the gaffer that I was well, and I was a little bit nervous before the game. But when you get started, it's all right, and the game went well for me. So.
The cross dropped in short. Perhaps Cook can provide a better one. He goes short instead to Birch. Now Thompson. It's not a bad ball in. A tester. And back in it comes from Birch. And then it's headed in by Kelly. 1-0 to Wolves. 13 minutes gone. David Kelly's 7th goal of the season. He's got some work to do now to keep pace with Steve Bull, but he's going to try his best. Great work here by little Paul Birch, and Kelly beat the goalkeeper to it. Thompson providing the initial danger with the cross. The header away by Chappell didn't drop very deep. Birch helping it on, and Kelly was unmarked. Oh, it's brilliant. Can he finish? He can. What an absolutely superb equalising goal by Stan Collymore. His 12th goal of the season. His 4th in 3 matches. £2.2 million. Well spent, if you ask me. Look at the way he turned away from the defenders there, and then just slowed down a gear, waited to commit the goalkeeper, and found the corner of the net. That is an absolutely magnificent goal. No other word can describe it. Beautifully executed. Strodder in trouble. Bohinen takes it off him and slides it forward to Collymore. Danger here. What a superb finish. Stan Collymore does it again. Goal number 13 of the season for him. And they come in 14 games. And that £2 million transfer fee is really looking good value.
Well, it's the central defender Strodder who lost possession quickly into the path of Collymore. Terrific speed, goes away from Marden. It's a good save from the end. The rebound nicely in the back of the net on the volley.
Collymore scoring early on for Nottingham Forest. Mellon for West Brom has given it away to Gemmell, who finds Stone. Now Black. Long ball for Collymore. That's food and drink to him. He loves the ball played there. Collymore looking dangerous again. Magnificent. That is his 8th goal in the last 9 games, and I get the feeling he's not finished yet by any means.
Well, once again, a ball played into the space behind the West Brom defence. Collymore just strides away from the defence, looks like he's going to shoot, comes inside, opens up the angle, and once again a cool finish into the corner of the net.
Well, Sunderland taking the game to Forest here at Roker Park. Space around the back, Cooper in attendance, but the ball still comes across to Philip Gray on the 6-yard line, and he hooks it in with his right foot. 11 minutes gone, Forest behind. Forest building down that right-hand side. Gemmell. Bohinen. Does little well up in the attack. But finally the ball comes in and it finds Scott Gemmell all on his own. That's his 3rd goal of the season. 17 minutes gone, Forest level. There's a man lying on the edge of the area as Forest defend furiously with Cooper. They won't want the ball to go out of play now. Collymore, 1 against 1. This is what he likes. Well, you wouldn't bet against him in that situation. Stan Collymore, 37 minutes gone, and he's put Forest ahead. This game still evenly poised. 54 minutes gone. There is plenty of room for Don Goodman, plenty of time for Sunderland to come back, and they've done it immediately. It's 2-2. The teenager gets it. Smith after 54 minutes. Forest still more than holding their own in this one, but a win at Roker Park would be a mighty fine feather in the cap. And if Stan keeps on like this, I was going to say they're going to get it. Well, they're 3-2 up. 11 minutes to go. He got 2 against West Bromwich Albion. He's got 2 against Sunderland. Forest 3-2 up. Well, after 2 consecutive league victories, the first time Forest had achieved that this season, came the Coca-Cola Cup 4th round tie with Manchester City at Main Road, and it finished goalless. Next it was back to the league action and Birmingham City. The two had only met a month before at St Andrews, and Forest were to win this one at the City Ground by a single goal. Barry Fry, who was to take over as manager of Birmingham, was in the stand watching this, and he saw former Southend player Stan Collymore set up the only goal. Birmingham defender Chris White scored it. It was enough for 3 points for Forest. Next up came the replay with Manchester City.
He's got the speed, he's got the strength. Didn't have the shot on that occasion, but as he set up a goal, that sneaked in late. But Stan Collymore was making things happen. Maybe it wasn't an intended pass. I think it was a shot originally that came across the 18-yard box. Because Vonk and Curl a couple of problems, tried the shot, and Black wasn't far away. Again, given a little bit of space to work into. Now, have they worked on that one? Is it a pantomime ploy which is going to bring a goal? Michel Vonk, the hero. Well, there were a few mumbles and grumbles when that set piece was started. And Michel Vonk knew what was going to happen. There it is, the ball came in, so simple really. Kernigan went in, took 2 defenders. Vonk sneaked in by the back door, and Manchester City are 1-0 up.
Well, they were all too worried about Kernigan, and they let Vonk clear at the back post. I think it was Chettle was the man picking him up. He just lost him for those couple of vital seconds, and that's all the big Dutchman has needed. That's a very good goal.
And again, a busy old time since he came on for Scott Gemmell. Now Cooper. Collymore can't turn Curl. Oh, he can now. What a shot! No second chance. And Tony Coton didn't get a sniff of that one. But that's how dangerous Stanley Man is.
Superb striking from Collymore. It was Cooper who had the ball, played it into him. He's turned on a sixpence. Great left foot shot. And Tony Coton didn't know too much about that. Glad to get a second chance to collect the ball.
Eye to eye with Steve McMahon, passes it to Webb. Webb gets it across there, and it's away by Curl. There have been dangerous moments just in front of Tony Coton, and there's another one. And there's a goal. Well, sweet moment for Neil Webb. Sit down, says Frank Clark, to get the ball. You're not needed. And Neil Webb reminds everybody that he's still around.
Already an inquest in the City defence. Just didn't pick up the runners there, and on that occasion Neil Webb just managed to break free, got the room, played a shot, and I think it's just come off Keith Curl, gone in the top corner. Tony Coton could do nothing about that. You just see it again here, ball played in, superb control from Webb, little touch from Curl, and it's gone in the top corner.
How ironic, Jim, that it should be Keith Curl who's done everything humanly possible to stop the scoring tonight, and there's that man Neil Webb. Look at the joy. Neil Webb. Cooper's
chance, he can finish it! He has finished it! 3 minutes to go, and what a dramatic finish! And you cannot hide the look of absolute disbelief on the Manchester City faces.
Cooper's played the ball into Webb, he's managed to turn, Cooper's continued his run. Now look at Gary Flitcroft, he's let him go, he sets himself up, and that is a great strike right into the far corner. Tony Coton had no chance, but Flitcroft didn't follow him back, he's just lost his man, and Cooper's managed to strike it into the...
Yeah, the first goal I got was actually at the Coca-Cola Cup match at Man City. And that was sort of only a couple of minutes to go in the game, and that was really exciting. My first goal for Forest, and it won us the game, got us into the quarter-finals as it was. And then I scored. Luckily, you know, it's normally the case if you don't score for a while, you normally find that you score a couple in quick succession. And I managed to score from a free kick against Southend at the City Ground, which was my first league goal at home for Nottingham Forest, and it was, although it was a big deflection, it was still very pleasing.
Can you tell us about the goal?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of us, like me and Stuart Pearce, concentrate mainly on free kicks with the likes of David Phillips as well. And really, it was sort of on my side of the box as it was. It was easy for me to hit it with my right foot than Stuart to hit it with his left. And I was feeling confident. And I just said to Stuart, you know, I'm going to hit it. And basically, I just hit the thing as hard as I could. And I think it ricocheted off one of the Southend defenders and sort of wrong-footed the goalkeeper a little bit, but I still claimed it.
Well, Colin Cooper, of course, scored against Manchester City in the Coca-Cola Cup. Well, with the deflection, he's now scored against Southend in the league. That's 1-0 to Forest. 43 minutes gone, Cooper's second goal in 2 matches. Forest 12 minutes away from another league victory. Bohinen just nips in, there is a chance here. Kingsley Black, left foot, 6 yards, 2-0. Gone, still goalless, and they're still looking for a Christmas goal. Will it come from the visitors? And how? A great shot from Moore. 51 minutes gone. Paul Wilkinson, the former Forest man, set it up. Middlesbrough ahead. Collymore on a chase. Collymore nips in front, and Collymore scores. Well, he's put Forest level 18 minutes after Middlesbrough went ahead.
What do you remember of the goal?
I just remember it was a long run, and it was Des Little had gone down, streaking down the right wing, and I just ran into the middle of the box totally unmarked. So he put it in, and I slid it in from about 3-4 yards. It was pleasing because it gave us a good cushion then, and then we went on to destroy Bristol City that day.
No goals so far at Ashton Gate. Collymore. There is now. Stan on 57 minutes. If you're looking for a goal, rely on Stan Collymore firing on all cylinders. Bristol City looking to get back on level terms. Crossley can't hold it, and Edwards is in there. Less than a minute after Forest take the lead, Bristol City have equalised. Was easily taken by Phillips. Collymore, Bohinen, and Forest building with Stone. Little on the overlap. A chance to get the cross in, and Neil Webb takes the applause. Enough to put Forest back in the lead. Well, Neil Webb's first game back has produced a lead for Forest. Bristol City trying to build and get yet another equaliser. They did it very quickly after the first one from Collymore, but Forest breaking it up. Bohinen with the long ball, Collymore on the chase. Now what will Stan do from here? Oh, that is magnificent. Stan Collymore. He'll take the plaudits if the referee lets him. It was worthy of celebration. That is as good a strike as you'll see. Forest, it seems, heading quite comfortably towards the 3 points here, and it will be a happy Christmas. A point yesterday at home to Middlesbrough, perhaps a little bit of a disappointment, but certainly 3 points at Bristol City will make it a very satisfactory Christmas. Collymore, great skills. A chance for Wone. Well, that's not a bad way to wrap up the afternoon.
The performance was a good one, wasn't it?
The performance was excellent. Like, it went down there after a battling performance the day before at home to Middlesbrough, where Middlesbrough played exceptionally well and we sort of scraped for a draw. And to go down there to Bristol, who were on a run at the time, they were still involved in the Cup. To destroy them like we did was great.
So Nottingham Forest began 1994 with plenty of hope. Charlton Athletic were the visitors on New Year's Day, and the game finished 1-1, but it was a happy New Year's Day for Des Little, his first goal for the club. It was only natural that Des would want to celebrate that, but the referee wasn't too happy with him. 20 minutes later, though, Charlton got an equaliser with what proved to be the last goal of the game. Gary Nelson scored it, and Forest had squandered 2 home points. But 2 days later, they made amends with a away victory at Watford. Didn't start too well, though, with an own goal for Colin Cooper after just 29 minutes. But Cooper was to make amends in the second half. After 57 minutes, it was 1-1. Cooper scoring in the right net. After finally cracking through the Watford defence, Forest did it again 6 minutes later. Scott Gemmell was the scorer of the goal on 63 minutes, a goal which proved to be the final one of the game and earned Forest 3 points. After this came a 1-1 draw in the FA Cup with Sheffield Wednesday. Next in the league were Tranmere Rovers.
One goal. Whoa. This is Brannan, the emergency centre half. To Nolan. Good anticipation from Morrissey. Saw that Pearce was going to win the ball. Goal inside to Aldridge. Was he fouled? Again, advantage given. No, Nevin around the goalkeeper, no doubt about it. Penalty. No point in Crossley arguing. It was beaten by Pat Nevin, and if he carries on like this, Crossley could go off, because that could have been deemed as a goal-scoring position. Advice is shut your mouth and try and save the penalty.
I don't think at the moment the referee is going to take any action against Crossley whatsoever. But if this isn't a penalty, I don't know what is. Nevin picks the ball up here. Now his first touch knocks it a little bit too far ahead, but he knows Crossley is coming, and all he needs is a touch, which he got. And Crossley's momentum has forced him into Nevin. That is a definite penalty.
I think the referee was just warning Crossley about arguing back. Crossley stays on. A man who's missed an FA Cup final penalty against a man who's saved one, but John Aldridge comes off better, and Tranmere Rovers go a goal up with just under half an hour gone. Good run from deep from Colin Cooper. This is his speciality, and that is as well. He's equalised. Colin Cooper, the man with a mission to come from the back and score goals. He's done it so frequently recently. That's his 5th goal in 8 games for Nottingham Forest. A centre-back with an eye for goal.
It was all so simple, wasn't it? Dave Phillips just came inside. Beautiful ball to the running Cooper with his left foot. And look at that, centre half. What's that like for finishing? No problems whatsoever, kept his cool. Once Eric Nixon was going down, he was always going to pick a spot, and he went for that near post, and it was a comfortable finish in the end.
Stuart Pearce sizes up the shot, passes on responsibility to Kingsley Black, stopped in his tracks by Brannan. Black gets it in, drops for Glover, across everybody, and Forest has stolen it. Scott Gemmell, the scorer.
And you must say, on the second half performance, Nottingham Forest have deserved it. A stunned-looking Eric Nixon, can't believe it.
After Tranmere, cup dreams were shattered by Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup, but a 0-0 draw with Wolves stretched a good unbeaten league run. Tranmere were next, yet again, in the Coca-Cola Cup.
Morrissey, 4 in the box for Morrissey to pick out. He looks for Malkin on the far post. Nevin is in behind him. He needs some help, doesn't he? Maybe not. Aldridge! Brilliant save! Magnificent goalkeeping by Mark Crossley. Hughes touched it on, and Brannan, and Malkin has scored for Tranmere! 6 minutes into the second half, Tranmere Rovers draw first blood, and Forest were never happy, really. Rowe, forward to Glover. Gemmell's there again, brilliant! He's done it again, the scourge of Tranmere Rovers. 3 games this season, 3 goals by Gemmell. Well, in the 2 league matches between the sides, Gemmell popped up with a winning goal, but this one, just as valuable. It's kept the grip on Nottingham Forest's favourite cup. 1-1. 14 minutes to go, and Gemmell showed his immense skill on the ball. Just fooled Nixon and slotted it home.
Em O'Brien. Thomas, Tranmere with virtually everybody forward in attack. Little had to be careful there. Nevin across, it's evading the goalkeeper, and the man who stands about 5'6" in his stocking feet chips the goalkeeper with a header, if that makes sense. It does to him, it doesn't to Crossley, and Tranmere Rovers have taken the lead. Morrissey going for glory, Thomas alongside him. Aldridge at the far post, Aldridge gets it back in, a chance for Thomas, and Tranmere Rovers are in the semi-finals of the Coca-Cola Cup.
As January drew to a close, the form had improved, and the goalless draw with Wolves on January the 23rd meant Forest had now gone 12 matches unbeaten in the league. True, they had gone out of the FA Cup at the first hurdle, but only after a replay with Sheffield Wednesday of the Premiership. Still, the league was the important thing, and at this stage, an immediate return to the top flight was looking on the cards.
So both major cups had gone and the league was the focus of attention, and it showed with a great performance against Leicester City.
Probably our biggest victory this year has been against Leicester at home. We got beaten away 1-0, which was a bad result for us. I think we needed to take points off the teams that are in the top 6 of the table, and beating Leicester at home in front of our own fans as well, because our home form had been a bit... It was reasonable without being exceptional, you know. So that was pleasing.
Midway through the first half, Nottingham Forest 0, Leicester City 0. And not too many genuine scoring chances for either side so far. Hardly any, in truth. Difficult one for Poole there, and his kick has gone straight to Gemmell, who plays it straight back in. That is absolutely brilliant. I suspect he's one of the few players on this pitch who could have scored a goal like that. Poole won't appreciate the fact.
Well, here we see Poole on the right-hand side of his box. He makes a mess up of it. You wouldn't have given Gemmell a chance there. Last-ditch tackle against him. But my word, that was a tremendous hit. It was premeditated. He decided that he was going to have a go, and Leicester did everything. I think it was Agnew that made that last tackle. They tried to make the tackle, but that was a mighty goal.
Stone's clearance was not what he intended. And
Bohinen finally breaks clear for Forest. Good ball, Glover. And still Glover. And Gemmell takes over. Chance of a second right on half-time here for Forest. Scott Gemmell, the finisher supreme again. Into stoppage time. He's extended Nottingham Forest's lead to 2-0. Glover doing so well in the build-up.
Yeah, there was the quick break from midfield. Gemmell following up as soon as that ball was played into Glover. But wasn't that excellent football? The way Gemmell took that ball out of his feet. There's Glover fighting for it. There's Gemmell on the run. His eyes are on the ball. Then you'll see in a second he has a quick look up. He assesses the situation. Splendidly curved round the goalkeeper.
No problems for Messrs Gregory and Evans in the picture there, and Brian Little presumably in behind them somewhere. Here's the man who produced those two goals, Gemmell, finding Phillips. Stone. Gemmell points to where he wants the ball and gets it. Stone again. Inside Agnew. He's done well here. Glover. Got to be curtains for Leicester now, and Nottingham Forest produce a fine goal.
Well, Steve Stone, when he came on the inside of Agnew, really surged then. Fine little pass inside, and that's what Glover's good at. Turning his man, whipping that ball in. Shades of Nigel Clough there. Look at the way he takes this ball, holds off his defender. There he is, and a lovely shot on the half-turn.
Beginning to look a real possibility. Certainly if they can play as well as this in the remainder of the season. Here's Phillips. Glover. Wone. 4-0. From a Leicester City point of view, it couldn't have fallen to a worse player. Wone on the left foot, bang, an excellent goal.
Yeah, once again, good play by the gritty Glover. Go in there with two challenges. And it's a lovely strike, really, and the goalkeeper had no chance at all.
I've been a little bit unlucky, I must admit, but on the other side, I've never been known for scoring a lot of goals, except for I've been scoring a few in the national side, but at the club level, I've never really scored many goals, so it doesn't surprise me.
Well, what would Forest give for a double over Notts County this year? Instead of that, McSwagan is threatening to put County ahead. Not only threatening, he's done it. 1-0 to County. Forest with 6 minutes to get back on level terms. Pearce plays the 1-2, a chance for the left foot shot. It's taken the deflection. Phillips! He's stolen at the far post, and that's 1-1. Dodgy position this for Forest to defend. Palmer's there, and that's 2-1 to Notts County. Have they snatched it back? Well, no goals so far in this closely fought contest. Bohinen has got the first. Not only the first of the game, it's Miles Bohinen's first for the club. 1-0 Forest. Palace still looking to get back on level terms. This match has taken on great importance as the league progresses. Force for Matthew. Well, the deflection was good enough to beat Crossley, and that may be good enough to give Crystal Palace a point. 1-1.
I was a bit lucky. It was a lot of people in the box, and then just came out towards me. I just had a go at it, and it went in through a lot of feet, so it's kind of lucky, but it was a good game to score my first goal anyway.
Well, after that late defeat at Notts County came another late defeat at Oxford. Alex Dyer's goal on 88 minutes, enough to give them victory at the Manor Ground. But in the league, Forest were climbing the table, at least to a playoff spot. Well, Forest still searching for the opener against the division's bottom club. Still the patient yet purposeful build-up. Kingsley Black. Still Forest in possession. Phillips. Stone. Peterborough giving them plenty of room to come forward. Stone picks the ball up yet again. Well, that's as calm a finish as you'll see all day. Scott Gemmell, 1-0. It's almost like a training goal. Black. A good cross in. Well, either Barber got a hand to that or it hit the post. Pearce with the long ball towards Bohinen. He should lose out there. And Peterborough at least alleviating, well, a little bit of the pressure, but then putting themselves back in it. Bull. That is a great back heel, and that is what turns out to be quite a simple goal for Scott Gemmell, his second of the afternoon. And Forest now well in control. It looked simple, it was well made, good vision, a good shot as he was falling. Perhaps Barber ought to have got that. Nevertheless, it's 2-0 Forest. We still await the first. Pearce. Summer dropped that one, and Cooper has got the vital touch. Right on the hour. Colin Cooper, 1-0 Forest. Well, the skipper looks pleased, as well he might be. Well, we're 9 minutes away from the end of this one. Forest still holding on to that slender one-goal lead. Bohinen, Stone, one-on-one with the keeper. Well, what will the referee do with that one? Stone was round the keeper. Had he got round the keeper, he would have scored. And well, from the referee's body language, there can only be one outcome. It doesn't matter what Alan Harper might have to say. He seems to want the substitute goalkeeper to come on. I think he knows the outcome. I think we all do. Summer has got to go. So Jurgen Sommer sent off. Well, Pedersen's first job then is to pick the ball out of the net. Pearce has made it 2-0.
Another debut, yeah. I've had numerous this season, so yeah. I mean, that was great to come back. It was unfortunate that you get your place through somebody else getting injured, but I mean that's the way you got to take your chances. And I came back and slotted one in again from about 4 yards.
Well, Forest certainly had a score to settle with Stoke after Stoke had handed them that 3-2 home defeat earlier in the season. Just one goal settled it after half an hour. It was set up by Steve Stone. It was a little bit further out than 4 yards, perhaps 7 or 8 for Neil Webb, but it was still good enough to earn a 1-0 victory. It was also the highlight of a good, strong, battling Forest performance.
Yeah, it was. Stoke were a very battling team. They were very physical, and I think they were surprised at the amount of the physical stuff that we gave back. And we were by far the better footballing team on the day, and we deserved the 3 points, and it set us on a run of 6 games unbeaten then.
Webb with the corner, as soon as he gets the player back 10 yards. And there's confusion, and, well, no confusion as far as Colin Cooper's concerned. Jason Lee helps it home as well, but Cooper will claim it, I'm sure. Forest ahead, 1-0. It came off the knee. Wilson, the former Forest man, leaves it. The cross comes in. Well, Crossley missed it. He's not happy. He thinks he was fouled, but the referee doesn't. Taggart will claim it. Lee. Trying to play it out of trouble. That could be danger. A shot from Phillips. It was danger. Forest back in front. David Phillips has got it. You shouldn't play out of defence from there. David Lee. McGinley. A chance for Brown. Well, you don't often see a fullback scoring with a volley. but Brown's done it. 23 minutes gone, Bolton ahead. Webb with the corner. In towards Chettle, and Chettle has got the equaliser. His head was highest amongst several, and Forest back on level terms. Pearce, Stone, good reverse ball. Pearce must score, and does. Forest ahead. Well, Pearce will love that one. And the first man he congratulates is Steve Stone. It's even worth a little kiss. Collymore. Well, would you believe it? He's only been on the field a couple of minutes. Stan the man. Not a bad man to have on the bench. Bring him on, and he'll get the goal. Well, there seems to be a little bit of trouble now whether Stan is going to be off the field as quickly as he came on it. Well, after all the fracas, I suppose there could only be one outcome. Stan sent off, Stan Collymore has gone, and Forest are down to 10 men. Well, there might be a man short, but Forest still 2 goals to the good. It could only be one. Indeed it is. Green has got another.
Yeah, I got sent off. I was, you know, when you're getting marked closely by players, you have a little bit of niggle now and again, and you know, it was a bit of tit for tat throughout the time that I'd been on, and you know, I think it's fair to say that I was stupid in throwing my arm back. I thought he made a bit of a meal of it at the time, but you know, the referees in general now are sort of clamping down on any sort of, you know, elbows or potential situations like that, and he was right to send me off.
Creaney. It's there. Portsmouth 1 up. The former Celtic man has put the Southerners ahead. Paul Hall, always a dangerous man in this sort of position. He's got a good shot on him. He's got a great shot on him. Crossley beaten at his right-hand post. Forest 2 down. Collymore. Can he bring Forest back into this one? Must do. 2-1.
Well, by the end of March, Forest were starting to look good for automatic promotion, which was no more than most of their performances throughout the season had deserved. Portsmouth was a bit of a hiccup at Fratton Park, but Stan was now back after all his injury worries, and things were looking bright. Just around the corner was the watershed of Easter.
Well, this match effectively marks the start of a busy time for Nottingham Forest. How they could do with victory to set them up for that busy Easter period ahead. Lee. Black. Good deep cross. Stone. 1-0. They're setting themselves up with that one. Steve Stone. Lee gets up well. But Watford piling it back at Forest. Cooper. Now then, Forest coming forward with Collymore again. A neat turn from Stan. Good ball into Webb. Surely must score. Digweed couldn't get there. And Neil Webb says thanks, Stan. 2-0. Well, if Forest could get a third now, they would really kill it off. Every chance. Pearce. Great save by Digweed. Pearce can't believe it. Pearce, even time to tell somebody where to go. Instead plays it to Phillips. Phillips plays it forward to Collymore. Collymore on the turn. Digweed makes the save. Well, there was hardly any room for Collymore to move, let alone get a shot in. Well, now it's Watford's turn to put on a little bit of attacking style. 5 minutes to go. Porter. Well, I said attacking style, you won't better that one. Does little backtracking. Instead the cross comes in, or Crossley let it go, as calm as you like. Jason Lee. Great shot. Pears with a great save. Stone off the line. And Pears picks it up again. Stone into the gap. A chance for Steve Stone. Oh, great save from Pears, but the chance goes begging. Chettle. Black. Again, the distinctive far post cross from Kingsley Black. This time pays dividends. Jason Lee. With Middlesbrough through now, there's every chance. Can Chettle save? No, Pollock has got the goal. He's got the equaliser. The ball falls down. Rosario gets the shot in. It's off the post. Well, as Middlesbrough's had done in the first half, Rosario does in the second. Pollock. Just wide again. Forest living dangerously. Neat skills. A chance for Wilkinson. Off the post. Pollock must score. It's 2-2. So after a draw with Middlesbrough came a draw with Bristol City, and then a visit to Charlton Athletic, settled by the only goal of the game from Jason Lee after 28 minutes. The perfect setup for a game with Millwall at the New Den.
There's support for him from Alex Ray. Cunningham's made a great break through the middle, and look at the space here now for Dave Mitchell on this side. He's hit a good cross in, and across the goal and into the goal from Jamie Murley. A terrific start for Millwall, and a wonderfully worked goal. Only the fourth time he's been on target this season. He's not had the best of luck with injuries as Morley. But that was a good goal-scoring touch there after a terrific build-up by Millwall. David, please.
A superb build-up. Kenny Cunningham did absolutely fantastically well. He made a break through the middle as opposed to wide. When the ball was played out by Alex Ray, Mitchell's cross was perfection.
Little touch by him. He was flattened up by Alex Ray. Wone gets it in now to Gemmell. Tries to get it Jason Lee. Back to Gemmell again. A terrific challenge there by Andy Roberts. They worked it beautifully there, Forest, in and around that Millwall penalty area, and Gemmell looked to be on for a really telling shot on goal until Roberts got that challenge there.
That was a super push and run.
So it's a corner now. Here it comes. Collymore turning! 1-1. It's a goal they threatened for a quarter of an hour before the interval. They've threatened it again right at the start of this second half. And Collymore, the man with 21 goals in 26 starts, now makes it 22 in 27 starts. A phenomenal scoring rate. A quick turn, a quick strike, and Forest to level at 1-1.
Yeah, he's not only quick down the channels, he's also good in the air. But look at this turning ability. So sharp for someone of his height.
And now it's with Ray. Cunningham. Nice little cross there by Cunningham. Mitchell! They're in the lead again! A great strike again by Dave Mitchell. A lovely cross in again. The big man got up so well, just inside the post, and Millwall restore their lead at 2-1.
It's been a feature of Millwall's game all through, their quality of crossing from the right-hand side. That was a splendid jump under pressure by Mitchell.
Right. Collymore again. Here's a real threat now. But across the face of that Millwall goal, Wone wasn't up fast enough or far enough to be able to do anything about it, but Gemmell tries to keep it going. Pearce again. Cross in once more. It's Stone who scored. It's 2-2. David?
Well, it was a good little bout of attacking, and it came from the full-back pushing, really. That tremendous tremendous enthusiast. You can see him now. Pearce, you know, he hasn't lost his appetite for the game. He's been playing in the Ends League this year. He's lost his place in the Premiership. He's been pushing forward in these last few minutes. He's been taking the game to Millwall, and it came from a clever little ball back out wide. And there's Stone, who's played very well all afternoon, coming across for the flick.
A successful sortie into London meant 4 points from 6, and Forest were now second, a position they weren't to relinquish. If they were to catch Palace, though, they needed to beat West Bromwich Albion.
For Nottingham Forest, looking for an immediate return to the top flight. Wone knocks it forward for Collymore to chase. Danger here. Collymore! Great challenge, and it runs loose to Stone, who has the easiest goal of his career to score. 8 minutes gone. The kind of situation every player dreams of. A great, gaping, wide, open and empty net.
Yeah, but you'll also see here that little or no cover. The young fullback Darton can't quite get across Collymore. Big tumble with the goalkeeper Stuart Naylor. For a moment, you know, I thought he was going to make a mess of it, Stone. I mean, he probably felt it fell too easy for him. But I think that is very much the risk of the space that West Brom are leaving at the back of their defence.
Wone in possession. Collymore. Lee is to his right. Now he's moved inside him. Little's on the overlap. It's a good ball. Little's got the pace to reach it. Stone coming in again. My word, if he'd scored with another header, even he would have said he's having the time of his life.
Yeah, but that's great build-up from Forest.
And it goes Cooper steaming in! Superb goal by Colin Cooper. 2-0 to Forest. Talk about timing your run to perfection.
Oh, that's good delivery. That's a good delivery, and he's left runners there. I think it's Darryl Burgess or Paul Raven. It's Darryl Burgess. Sorry, no, it is Darryl Burgess. He's lost his run, I think, there. But I mean, no way in the world should one of the best headers come from a position like that to score. But full marks to him. He's gone in brave, and that's a good delivery.
Hunt skipping inside again. Taylor. Back it goes to Hunt. This is Taylor. Well played, he stumbled at the vital moment but finds the net. He got a crack in the face, but it didn't stop him scoring, and Albion's goal scorer supreme has given them a moment of hope here with 5 minutes to go. Hamilton, Hunt, Taylor, and then finally what they've been looking for all day, the decisive shot.
He's had 3 chances in that particular position, and that might have been the most difficult out of the lot of them. Full marksman, some good little nick-offs. He goes through, stays strong, has the presence of mind to recover, and his shot is spot on.
Chettlewell, Cooper's gone more centrally alongside Collymore. And short from Wone, here comes Phillips, he can really hit them, and now a chance for Chettle. Close, but not close enough from Steve Chettle's point of view. Well, he's probably the last one you'd expect to be in a shooting position here, but Steve Chettle, who actually scored on Forest's last visit to Derby, fails with this one. I suppose it was inevitable that one verdict would go against the Derby centre-half. It's having quite a battle with Collymore, as you would expect. So Pearce and Cooper and Phillips are all there. Wone is pushing up down the left. Derby have everybody behind the ball. It's a better angle for Cooper than for Pearce. And Cooper will strike it. Oh, it's a terrific goal from Colin Cooper. And he's done it again. He just cannot stop scoring goals this season. Terrific start for Nottingham Forest. And Colin Cooper has struck his 9th of the season here. The slightest of deflections, I fancy. Wide of Taylor, and Forest pricelessly in the lead. Whether the keeper was unsighted is a moot point. Collymore's ball through is a good one, and there's a chance here for little Stone. He's also in goal-scoring mood. My word. Steve Stone, who's scored in both the last couple of matches.
Looked as though he might be on for his own personal hat-trick here. Bohinen, a little touch out to him. Bringing it inside Nicholson. Worked it onto the left foot. That again took the deflection. It could so easily have gone in. Pierce for a penalty not given. Harks' cross instead. Kitson breasts it down. Kitson nearly scores. And with Short coming in on him, Crossley bravely stays down. And that's the closest that Derby County have been to a goal. Came because Harks got it in quickly. Here it is. First time ball from Harks. Kitson spinning on it. Took the option of the shot, and Crossley at the second attempt completes the stave. Telling his players to get out. He needs more of them up there in the Forest half. However, they might have something now as sliced up by Chettle on a first-time shot. Terrific one it was too from Kitson. And John Harks, in fact, I was watching Kitson there. I thought it was him, but it was John Harks who really let fly with that one. Let's have a look. Yes, Harks ran in front of Kitson and really belted it. Good stop, Crossley. Stone gets in. Here goes Collymore again, trying to get between the keeper and his defender Short, who reacted coolly. Oh, and it's gone in! What a remarkable goal! Steve Stone will take the credit. That's a quite astonishing goal. Gary Charles against his old team kicks thin air, but he has helped really Forest forge a 2-goal lead here. It's an awful defensive error. Charles knows it as much as anybody. There's the problem to start with. Taylor's out of his net, Short with the header. Now watch Gary Charles here. Does it come off him? Well, Stone just got a boot in the way. It's an own goal in many ways from Gary Charles.
So Forest have come down for a celebration in the sunshine, but it's Peterborough on the attack. Charlery, a chance for McGorry, who's spoiling the early party. Peterborough coming forward again, every chance. Charlery, well, Forest after 7 minutes in all sorts of trouble. Collymore, well, he's got the pace, he's got the shot, he's got the goal. Stuart Pearce has put Forest level. Well, if Forest could get one more now, promotion is assured. What better than a Collymore goal? His 24th of the season will be celebrated, and never has it been more precious. So Forest then were back at the top with promotion as runners-up. A goalless draw with Grimsby was followed by a draw with Sunderland. The result didn't matter in terms of position, but it mattered in terms of the party. Scott Gemmell's foul allowed Stuart Pearce to score the first of the game with the penalty. And although Stan was to miss from Steve Stone's cross in the first half, it was fitting that Collymore should score Forest's final league goal of the season. This time in the second half, he converted a pass from the same player. But Sunderland did put a little dampener on the proceedings with two late successes. Don Goodman got the first with 8 minutes left. And then Craig Russell scored the equaliser 4 minutes from time, albeit with a little help from Mark Crossley. But even though they'd relinquished a 2-goal lead, this was time for Forest to celebrate. Nottingham Forest had won promotion to the Premiership at the first attempt. They were back where their supporters feel they belong.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it now, and that I think we're looking forward. We're not looking back now. We've done all the hard work in that there, and we're certainly looking forward for the break and then to start off the Premier, go back to all the Premier League clubs. Remember going down against Sheffield United, but today, you know, it puts the icing on the cake. It's been great. Everybody in the club's worked very hard, and I'm delighted for the gaffer. He came and took a difficult job, went about it very quietly, and at the end of the day, he's had success.
The supporters turned out in force today, and you know, it was a day to enjoy the game, and we have done. But yeah, it's great in the first season at the club to sort of score 25 goals and to go up as well. It's been tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, we've only really taken the first step. When I came here, you know, people were saying what your ambitions, what your aims, and the only one I had really was to try and get the club back into the Premier League as quickly as possible in one season, if we could. We've achieved that, but as from today, that's history. That really, and there's no way that we can sit back and say, right, you know, we've cracked it. We've taken the first step. Now we've got to go on from this and try and bring a side and develop a side here capable of going on and winning something and getting the club back into Europe.